I get worked up into like a full-blown rage when I talk about U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins, so please forgive me if I get real pissed off in this video. Really pissed off. I know this country is a cacistocracy now, where the least qualified and most incompetent people are in charge of everything, and Brooke Rollins is a shining example of that. Remember, with uncontrolled bird flu and soaring egg prices, Brooke Rollins told Americans, if you're unhappy about the price of eggs, just get chickens. You live in an apartment in the middle of a city? Just put chickens in your apartment. Nobody should be bothered by high egg prices. Nobody should be concerned that keeping poultry close to you during a bird flu spike could potentially create a public health risk. If you want eggs, then you should just get chickens. Brooke Rollins also said that she fully supports Donald Trump and the American Gestapo, known as ICE, rounding up, abducting our migrant farm workers. She's not worried about the labor shortage, even though along the West Coast for stone fruit season, we've seen farmers saying between 50 and 70% of their workforce has not shown up because they've either been snatched by ICE or they're afraid that they will be snatched by ICE while they are picking fruit on farms. Fruit has rotted on the trees. The prices of stone fruit have gone through the roof. Brooke Rollins says she's not worried about that because her plan is to make people on Medicaid go pick that food in the fields so that they will get their work requirement. You know, your granny with dementia in the nursing home, Brooke Rollins wants her to go pick peaches. Neighbor with cerebral palsy, Brooke Rollins wants him up a ladder picking cherries in order to qualify for Medicaid. I fucking hate her. Anyway, okay, the USDA now has announced that they are ending loan support for solar projects on farmland. Just add to the complete idiocy, just add to the ways that this government is absolutely determined to destroy agriculture in this country, especially for family farms. I already talked about in a video yesterday that bankruptcies are way up for farmers in the United States. So is self-harm, by the way. Okay, let me read this piece from Farm Policy News, and I will do my best to not blow a gasket. Okay. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins said Monday that the department would be cutting off subsidies for solar power projects on U.S. farmland, asserting that they are making it harder for producers to afford acreage. Neither Rollins, who was speaking in Tennessee, nor the department provided any guidance on the USDA's plans, but a USDA rural development memo obtained by AgriPulse News indicated that solar and wind projects would be made ineligible for the Business and Industry Guarantee Loan Program, and that the Rural Energy for America program guaranteed loans and grants would be restricted to small-scale projects. This is not about protecting farmland at all. This is about punishing China. Solar projects containing Chinese components will be ineligible for loan programs. It's wild that Brooke Rollins is claiming that solar panels are diminishing and making farmland unaffordable, while they are driving farmers out of business so that J.D. Vance and Acre Trader can buy up farmland for 3 pennies on the dollar and sell it to foreign investors. Previously, the USDA provided over $2 billion for renewable energy projects like solar and wind through its Rural Energy for America program. The agency also supported clean energy projects for rural electric cooperatives. That seems like a generous amount of money, and it was really important for rural America in creating more stable electric supply. It also allowed farmers to use their farmland for additional sources of income. Please understand that Brooke Rollins' claim that these solar and wind grant programs to rural America were making for a shortage of farmland is like easily fact-checked as complete and total bullshit. These projects accounted for 0.05% of America's farmland. And according to the USDA's own report from 2024, most of that land stayed in agricultural production after solar and wind projects were added. This is not displacing farmland. This is providing farmers with additional sources of revenue. They can either rent land or they can get grants for their own solar and wind projects and then continue to pasture their cattle there or continue to grow crops. They can continue to carry out agriculture on that land. This is allowing them to, in permaculture, what we call stack functions, use the land for multiple yields, multiple revenue streams. Only that, it cut carbon emissions for rural America, and it created more affordable green energy for rural Americans. It was a good, these are really good programs. I know the Trump regime, I know they don't care about helping rural America. I know that they're actively making life worse for rural Americans. And we know that Trump hates wind and solar power. We know that he is desperate to regress this country to a previous time, right? Trump's movement, the MAGA movement, is a reactionary movement. That means they want to take us backward in time. They want to romanticize who we were in the past. Trump pushes coal, y'all, coal. Instead of helping coal miners transition out of a job, a career that is dying, it's a dwindling resource. And instead of our government investing in those communities, in those workers, and training them for different fields of work like wind and solar, helping them move into the 21st century and be competitive with countries like China. Instead, Trump is like, let's mine more coal and let's really support drilling for more oil. Let's keep investing in fossil fuels. Let's keep promoting fossil fuels. Even though it's more expensive, it's bad for the economy. It's bad for the environment, and it makes us fall farther and farther behind other countries who are looking to the future. It's so fucking nonsensical. And I want to take a second here. Speaking of countries that are moving ahead while we are regressing and going backwards, while our country is cutting grants and funding for solar power, hurting America's farmers, making it less possible for rural America to access solar power. Not just because of this, but also, I reported a while ago that in Maine, where most solar panels are made in the United States, Trump cut off all of that green energy funding, and tons of electricians are out of work in Maine. They voted for Trump, didn't realize that their jobs were paid for by Biden infrastructure money. Maybe they did. Maybe they just didn't care and their racism was more important. But Trump really wants to gut all clean energy. He is really opposed to it. So those folks have lost their job. Now this grant funding is going away. These loans are going away. And as we are weakening, as we are falling into the background, as we are regressing and diminishing as a nation, other countries are moving ahead, right? China's not actually hurting because we are not importing as much of their solar panels. They found new markets. They have turned to Africa. 20 countries have now imported a record amount of solar panels. My Hope Corps take on this was the regression and decline of the US, democratic backsliding in Europe could mean that Africa rises in the coming years as the locus of progress and innovation. I'm down with that. How about y'all? I'm down with that. We are declining, we are regressing, we are going backward, we are becoming less competitive and less prosperous, and the rest of the world continues to move forward without us. That's what you get in Trump's America. Diminished United States.